Hi all, I'm Alana, Surrogacy Intake Manager at CFC. We're excited to have you all tonight for our live Q&A. As always, you can throw any of your questions, comments, anything you'd like in the chat section, and we'll kind of address it as we go. So yeah, I'm Alana, and I'll let the others introduce themselves as well.
Hi, I'm Megan. I work in surrogacy admissions, and I've been a surrogate before myself, and I'm just kind of in the middle of my second journey.
I'm Angel. I am a case specialist here at CFC, so I work with intended parents. I've done 3 surrogacy journeys myself. I actually just returned to work from delivering my 3rd surrogate baby about a month ago.
And I know that we've kind of all, well, not all, but if you haven't come to live before, we have talked about kind of Megan's journeys in the past and different things she experienced. So Angel's going to share a bit with us today about her newest journey. I know she just delivered not long ago, but always really great to kind of hear from you, Angel, and how things are going.
Yeah, so this was a sibling journey that I did. I carried for the same set of dads and delivered a little girl for them back in September of 2020. So we already had a really great relationship going into this. Pregnancy and everything went really well, and they came up a few weeks before I was set to deliver. So we got to spend some time together, and I got to spend some time with little Charlie, my surrogate baby. And then, yeah, we delivered. They went home last week. So it's been good. Everything, they're doing really good. They're adjusting to life as parents with 2 children. They keep sending me all their tired face pictures because, but overall the journey was so great. Doing that sibling journey with them and having that relationship and knowing that now I have that extension, right? So yeah,
For sure. And they're from France, right?
they are from France.
Amazing. I hope you get to go visit again soon.
Yes, I would. Yeah, me and my daughter went there for Charlie's first birthday back in September of 2021. So yeah, it was great to be able to go there and see them at home and how they are with everything there. So.
Amazing. Gosh, well, we can jump into questions. I know some people have sent questions in beforehand, so we'll kind of go into those. And yeah, if you have any, put them in the comments. We can focus on kind of any sections of the process you want to know more about, reimbursement, birth, kind of what all of that will look like. So feel free to put those in at any time. Okay, what is the process like from start to finish, aside from the obvious being pregnant and carrying a baby for 9 months? Okay, it's a longer explanation, that's for sure. I think we'll kind of tag team this one, Megan. So one of the first steps to getting started is you'll complete a surrogate profile. That profile is going to be really, really getting into you as a person, your medical history, and also what you're looking for in terms of your journey. Like if you want to help couples or singles, if you want them to be Canadian, or if you're open to them being from anywhere in the world. And then some of those tougher questions like your values regarding termination, or how many embryo transfers you're open to undergoing in order to conceive, kind of all of those different things. So all of that is covered in the profile. And then we would start sending you intended parent profiles based on what you're looking for. You get to look through those, kind of feel out each profile and see who really steals your heart, and then decide who you'd like to start talking with. You'd have a couple of weeks to get to know your intended parents before you commit to going to your first initial testing appointment at the clinic you're working with. As Megan has done screening numerous times for her different journeys, I'll kind of let her take over in terms of the initial testing and then also the embryo transfer as well.
Yeah, so medical screening was really easy. It could all be done in just in one day. So I just traveled locally to a fertility clinic nearby. I went for, usually it's just a full pelvic ultrasound, blood work, ultrasound, and then they'll also do psychological screening as well. They also talked to my husband, which was nice. They made sure that he was on board and very supportive about my journey. And then after that process, the next thing that I did was legal contracts. So, get introduced to a fertility lawyer, go through sort of just a basic surrogacy contract. And there's a lot of things in there that cover the whole process. It'll talk about the number of embryo transfers you might be willing to undergo, things that are important, like the way that you feel about termination, lost wages, all those types of things are in your contract. Once you and your intended parents are happy, you would sign that contract and then you move on to an actual embryo transfer, which is really exciting. I didn't really know what to expect my first time around, but it was really fast. It only took about 5 minutes. Felt a lot like getting a PAP. I think the coolest thing about an embryo transfer is they show you a big screen version of the embryo under a microscope right before they transfer it. So that was probably the coolest part, getting to see the cell structure moving around, and you can actually see the embryo hatching sometimes as well, which is really cool. And that pretty much sums up the portion right up to embryo transfer.
Yeah, something else that we do too is we have an agency policy that we only transfer one embryo at a time. It's to avoid the risk of multiples because we want it to be as safe as it can be for the surrogate and for the pregnancy, of course. Okay. I've noticed that most individuals do multiple surrogate journeys. I was wondering what the ratio was on people who do one surrogacy versus multiple in your experience. I would say more than half of surrogates will do more than one journey, whether that be a sibling journey or a journey for someone else. A lot of the time we see surrogates not doing another journey because they can't for whatever reason. Maybe they've aged out. Maybe they've decided they want to have another child of their own, kind of different reasoning there. But yeah, I would say well over 50% of people do more than one journey. We have some surrogates that have done like 4 or 5 or 6 journeys, I think now is our kind of record breaker there. Are other families looking at my profile to see if they select the surrogate, or is it only one-sided? So when your profile is complete, we create, we call it a clean profile. And it just means that it's cleaned of all of your personal or identifying information. So your phone number, where you went to school, like all those kinds of things, if you put them in that profile, are removed. Then we send those out only to intended parents that match what you're looking for. We send it to them directly as well, so you're not displayed on a database or anything like that. All of the intended parents that say yes, we then send those to you, and you get to choose who you'd like to start talking to. Looks like legal fees aren't something that's covered in sample contracts. Would I be responsible to cover my own legal fees out of pocket? Is there anything that is my responsibility to cover? Angel, I know that legals and all that is really your wheelhouse in terms of talking to people, so I'll let you kind of cover that one as well.
Yeah, so the legal fees, you will not be out of pocket for that at all. It will be reimbursed through your reimbursement account. The lawyer will send the invoice directly to CFC and it will be reimbursed that way. So you won't be out of pocket anything for that. Really, there shouldn't be anything that you are responsible for. You may have to pay for something up front and submit your reimbursement for that when it comes to like throughout your monthly and everything. But there's nothing that you should be out of pocket for.
And your monthlies are up to $2,000 a month for your pregnancy-related expenses or health and wellness. So that's things like groceries, childcare, mileage, pregnancy pillows, compression socks, like really whatever has to do with the pregnancy or your health during that time. Yoga, gym membership, acupuncture, massage, chiro, like all that stuff is kind of under that reimbursement umbrella. And then any of your lost wages are covered above that. And it's all submitted through an app that we have. So you take photos of your receipts and then send them off to the finance team each month. Can I choose to have a C-section as a surrogate? Megan, you want to take this one? Sorry, this plant is making me insane.
Well, I think as long as it's between you and your doctor, it could be whatever you decided with your own care team that was safe and appropriate for you. I just did what I always do when I give birth, which is deliver vaginally, but lots of other people have C-sections as well.
Yeah, some intended parents, I don't want to say they like C-sections, but they like to be able to plan. I know we've had a lot of intended parents say, oh my gosh, we know the exact date, and they're very excited about that, but it's totally personal choice. How does guardianship work after birth? So that's something that's worked out completely in your legal contract stages in terms of guardianship, parentage of baby, all of that stuff. So they will be on the birth certificate. There is some differences if you're in Quebec, as I know it kind of is a longer process there in terms of the legal contracts and who will be on the birth certificate originally. So in some cases, it may be the surrogate mother, and then you just have to get it amended to have the intended parents on it, because Quebec does have a little bit different rules than Canada, or sorry, than the other provinces do. Do the surrogate parents have to attend the birth, or is it okay for them post-birth? It's up to you and what you're comfortable with. If they're in the room or if they're not, they will be at the hospital. After birth, if they have a separate room or if they stay in the same room as you, it's really up to you in terms of what you're comfortable with. Because it is a big thing, right? It's a huge experience. And sometimes people want that super closeness, and other times people want to kind of have that distance. So it really is dependent on what you're wanting. Oh gosh, I'm gonna let Angel or Megan take this one. What are the surrogacy med side effects?
Bloating. You do get the bloating, the med bloat. That's the main one. Like any hormone, like you can have some tenderness or that kind of thing, but the main thing is you get a bit of bloating, and yeah, that's the main one I had. I don't know, Megan, if you had other ones as well, but that was my main one that I really noticed.
Yeah, I noticed the bloating, a bit of headache, and sometimes feeling a little bit nauseous. So it really mimics those first trimester pregnancy symptoms. It's a little bit different for everybody.
No fun. Okay, I see another question in the comments, which is amazing. Sarah, I love how many questions you're asking. Yeah. I want to answer all of them. I've noticed a lot of families are outside Canada. Would we be required to travel at all for meetings, or would they always come to the surrogate? So we work with clinics all across North America: Montreal, Toronto, Edmonton and Calgary, Victoria and Vancouver, and in the States in San Diego, Utah, Las Vegas, and New York. Regardless of where your intended parents are from in the world, you'll only ever have to travel for a maximum of 2 appointments, and it will be to a clinic in North America, which you will know before you commit to them, which clinic it is. So you only have to travel for those 2 appointments, which would be that initial testing and then your embryo transfer. Once you're confirmed pregnant, all of your appointments are close to home with your own doctor or midwife. And intended parents, if they want to attend ultrasounds or anything like that before the birth, then they'll always travel to you. You won't be asked to go to them. Once again, I'll throw this one to you guys as it's
a completely different experience. The surrogate babies that I've had, I love them, but not as my same way my own child. I love them the same way my niece or my nephew or my friend's children. They're somebody that I care very much about, but it's not that they're my child kind of feeling. Throughout the pregnancy, when I would feel the baby move, it wasn't, oh my goodness, baby's moving. It was, oh, I wish the intended parents could feel this. It's a different mindset that you have when you go into it, preparing yourself and seeing the joy on those parents' face when they get to hold their baby. It makes that so you understand, like your heart understands that's what it was for.
What's the difference between gestational and traditional surrogacy? So the main difference is that your embryo, or the embryos that will be used with a gestational carrier, will be the eggs are used from the intended mother or from an egg donor. Traditional surrogacy is when the surrogate is genetically the mother of the baby. We only practice gestational surrogacy. It comes with a lot less psychological things attached to it, and legally it's a lot less red tapey. So yeah, we only practice gestational, so you wouldn't have any genetic relationship to baby. Any advice when talking to your loved ones about surrogacy? Megan, I'm giving this one to you.
Just buckle up and get ready for some mixed reactions because you might get them. You might get them. You're going to have people tell you, wow, it's such an amazing thing you're doing. This is fantastic. And other people will not understand. And that's okay. You know, they're not going to
Be
get it.
prepared. Yeah, and questions. Be prepared for questions.
Yeah. I hear a lot from surrogates that it's always their partner that's like, are you crazy? Why are you doing this? It seems to be the kind of knee-jerk reaction in terms of that. But yeah, you'll never really know until you talk to people, right? Sometimes people will surprise you and be super excited. Sometimes they'll surprise you and they'll be total, totally
When
not supportive. I was trying not to cuss.
when I first decided I wanted to be a surrogate and I told my father, he was not really on board with it. He was very confused by it, didn't understand it. That was before I did my first journey, so that was back in 2017. And just last month, my dad made a special point of coming here while my intended parents were here with the kids because he wanted to meet them because he had heard so much about them and all he can say is great things. He's like, you can just see how much love those dads have for those babies, how sweet they are. They're just such kind people. And I feel like he's grown. He's learned and he's grown. So it is, people may not come around right away, but eventually some of them will.
Yeah, once they see that, right? Once they see the results and really that joy that it brings to other people. Do I have to pay for any of the medical appointments for the preparation process? No, you don't. The appointments at the clinic, the two that you have to travel for, all the costs are covered before you go. Flights, hotel, mileage, childcare, lost wages, meals. This plant is still making me crazy. Really, whatever you're needing in order to get to that appointment. And during the day of that appointment is going to be covered before you go. And then you'll just submit your receipts after and be reimbursed for that. The cost of the actual medical procedures or medications, anything like that, all of that is covered outside of that. So it's something that you don't have to worry about. How much contact do I have with my intended parents? There's levels for sure. There's some surrogates that just talk to them once a week. Hey, just checking in. Everything's good. Baby's good. I'm good. Can't wait. And then there's surrogates that go on vacations with their intended parents after the birth. Like it's really whatever level you're comfortable with. And it really grows, I think. Like it does kind of change as you go through the journey in terms of if you talk more, if you talk less, like you really all just kind of settle in to what is comfortable for everyone and what everyone's kind of wanting to do in terms of chatting. Because I know Megan and Angel, both of you talk to your intended parents quite often, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I chat with mine. We message daily, even if it's just a hey, hope you had a good day. They send me a message almost every day. As we've known each other for so long now, it is starting to get where, if it's a day or two and we don't hear from each other, it's not that big of a deal. It's not like, we're worried, but yeah, we chat quite frequently.
What makes an ideal surrogate? Basic requirements 21 to 45, non smoker, no medications that aren't safe during pregnancy, and living in Canada. Main thing I would say is someone who's just really, really wanting to help someone, right? Help families, help couples, help singles, open minded, and really just willing to do it. 'Cause we have some people that sign up and they get partway in and they're like, no, no, and they never talk to us again. Like it's heartbreaking to have to tell intended parents, we don't know what happened. Like, of course, the surrogate's not pregnant at that point, but just really having that commitment to the process and really wanting to get started.
Yeah.
Do you have children of your own? Sorry if you already said this. How did you introduce the topic to your kids? What was their reaction? Megan and Angel, throwing it to you again. I do not have children of my own yet, so I'm just working on egg donation journeys over here until I've completed my family so I can be a surrogate as many times as humanly possible.
That's a lofty goal, Anna. I like that goal.
Yeah.
So for me, my kids were younger. They were 6 and under when I started my first journey. So I actually was able to have some pretty age appropriate conversations about surrogacy and what it is I was actually doing. There's a lot of really great resources out there for people who want to have those conversations but need a little help. So I ordered a book off Amazon. It was called The Kangaroo Pouch. And it was just a really great book just explaining surrogacy to little kids, in a way that they can understand. And as soon as they figured out what it was all about, they were absolutely on board with it.
Yeah. My kids were a bit older. They were 10, 12, and 14 when I first thought about doing it. And so we had a very straightforward sat down at the kitchen table and I explained to him, this is what I would like to do and answered any questions that they had. My oldest boy, he said, so does this mean I'm going to have brothers and sisters running around? And I said, no. He's like, well, then that's fine. Right. And kids are really resilient and they learn so much. And my kids now, like my daughter, she's very open at school about, oh yeah, my mom's a surrogate. And she talks to all her friends about it like it's something normal to her because she's just been around it and it's great.
And kids somehow get it better than some adults. Like they don't have that weird kind of mental taboo
Yeah.
around it. They just think, oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
we're
I'm
gonna help
helping
these
someone,
people.
right?
Awesome.
Exactly. A lot of surrogates I've heard too describe it to their kids that are quite young as, oh, well, their intended parents are their friends, right? And mommy's friends can't have a baby, so she's going to help them have a baby. And really, that kind of sticks in a kid's head because they're like, yeah, why wouldn't you help your friend, right? So, tons of different ways to go about it. But kids are surprisingly accepting. Like, they're just like, okay. Do the intended parents have to meet some requirements as well? Angel, as you work with intended parents,
Yeah, so we go through the same process on the intended parent side as happens on the surrogate side. So we chat with the intended parents and find out what they're looking for, and find out um, why they came to the journey and how things are going for them. And we do our questionnaire and questions with them, and so we do follow through all the different things that we don't want somebody here that's not looking for really an altruistic surrogacy and those kind of things.
yeah, they also do counseling and stuff like that before they come to us. And quite honestly, intended parents, by the time they get to surrogacy, they've explored, if they're heterosexual couples, IUI, IVF, egg retrievals. Horrible, horrible circumstances, and a lot of the times. Same sex couples, adoption lists. Most of the time, they've been waiting forever. In some other countries, a same sex couple, they'll never be considered for adoption, but they'll tell them every year, yep, you're still on the list. So it can be really hard. And they're really ready by the time they get to us, right? In terms of getting things started. Is postpartum mental therapy eligible for reimbursement? We wouldn't have receipts for this beforehand. Just wondering what recovery looks like. So you're covered for 6 weeks of postpartum expenses and lost wages. If it's a vaginal birth, 10 to 12 if it's a C-section. This can include postpartum midwifery or doula care, postpartum therapy or counseling, psychiatric care, like anything you're needing in regard to that. Because I think us, just like a lot of other people now, realize mental health is just as important as physical health. If lockdowns taught us anything, it was that, holy, this is hard, right? Life is hard. And with the current rise of people being really aware of their mental health, it's really important that it's taken care of. So that's a reimbursable expense. And then if it extends past that 6 weeks or past that 10 to 12, we have a really amazing counselor that's available anytime. Her name is Jan. She's amazing. I love her. And she's available anytime, 6 months after, 2 years after, 10 years after. Like if she's still counseling, then you can still see her and there's no cost to you to do that. Because it is really important. Sometimes stuff just hits you, a year later and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to talk about this right now. So that's always kind of available to you. Not kind of, it is. Sorry. Obviously, the baby I'd be bringing to the world is not mine and is 100% the child of the IPs, and I understand that completely. I'm just curious if surros are allowed to hold the baby at birth. Megan, you want to take it?
Yes, you are. So it's a conversation to have with your intended parents. So our conversation with who's going to hold baby first. And for me, I'd already held my own kids, so I wanted them to pass baby right away to my intended mom, just so I could see that moment, right? I was like a fly on the wall in there. And then after they got their snuggles in, I had some snuggles too.
I'll pause for a second. What perks does CFC have to surrogates? Sacred surrogacy. I did jazz hands below my computer screen. Um, so, sacred surrogacy is a program that we have where you receive boxes is it every 3 months?
Welcome 12-week birth. Yeah.
Yeah, so 3-ish months. So lots of fun stuff in those in terms of your journey while you're pregnant. I know that things like belly buds come in there for like so you can play music through your belly. I've never used them, obviously, but different stuff like that, different self-care stuff. All of that is sent out every few months to really just make sure that you're able to practice that self-care. Right? There's different conversation things, malas, like a lot of really great stuff goes into those boxes, and they're absolutely beautiful. Um, I think, yeah, we can drop the link for that for the Instagram in the chat as well. So that's something that's open to you. Also, this year we have our retreats in person coming back. I've never been more excited for something, I don't think. So it's in major cities. We get surrogates together in those locations. We share a meal, do different activities like setting a salt bowl for intentions, fear releases, really just getting to know one another and having that face-to-face connection. I think a lot of us they need it. Like I am absolutely sick of this, like the virtual, let's talk over Zoom. It makes me insane. But I know that it's the only way a lot of us can connect now. So we're really going to try and be bringing back that in-person moment. And those retreats are available to all of our surrogates, past, present, or future. So that's something that you can always attend as well. How can I start? Everyone that's on here will receive an email with kind of all of the info. The profile is your first place to start, or booking a call with me or Megan, or both if you want to jump on Zoom. Even though it's not my favorite, I'll do it. Yeah, so just really chatting with us, going through everything, and making sure it's a good fit for you and for your family, right? Like it's a really big decision. So we'll kind of walk you through it, answer any questions, and yeah, see if it's going to be a good fit for you. I know, our Instagram is in the comments as well. So if anyone wants to go look at that, got some really, really beautiful stuff in there. We also have, I think we have an Etsy store where you can get stuff too. If you get something in your box and you think, oh my gosh, I want this again, that's always available as well. And I think we have a video as well of intended parents. But before we get to that, does anyone have any last minute questions? Anything else? Any comments? Any things? Any crazy questions that someone's asked you that you think maybe I do want to ask that? I'll give it a couple minutes on there while maybe Angel shows us her cute photo thing that she got from her intended parents.
Oh, yes, I can do that for sure. So this is my most recent surrogate baby there. And then that's the last one. And then, other way. That's all of us together. So
It's so cute.
And then, sorry, it's hard to do mirrored. There's me and both of them together. So yeah, they gave me this after the birth. They made this picture for me. So it's going to hang on my wall because this is mine from my first journey. So yeah.
So beautiful. I love your intended parents. I want to be friends with them.
They're very sweet people. I'm excited. I am starting another journey as well. So.
Woo. Okay, so if there's no more questions, Megan is gonna do a little intro to our intended parents who are so fun, and I can't wait to watch the video again.
I love these intended parents, and you're going to see why in a second. So this is Regis and Stanislaw. They are just too good for this earth. So you have to watch their video. Absolutely.
And also, Sarah, method of communication, if you're talking about with us, text or email or phone call. If you're talking about with the intended parents, when you're talking to them, it can be in any method everyone's comfortable with. And I'm sorry for interrupting your intro, Megan.
She's crazy like a fool. What about Kelly Cool? She's crazy like a fool. What about Kelly Cool? I'm crazy like a fool. What about Kelly Cool? Kelly Cool.
I will never get over that video. It's so fun. I love
It
videos,
always makes me smile. Like they're so fun. They're gonna be the best dads ever.
right? Imagine. I can just imagine them like with their little t-shirts, like literally making them before the birth for them and their surrogate. I predict it's gonna happen.
Whoever
Gosh.
matches them is gonna have the best journey ever.
I imagine that dancing when you're in labor. You know how some women dance when they're in labor to get things going. I can see them all dancing together for that. That's going to be amazing.
We'll have to do an update once they have a surrogate
Yeah.
and they're pregnant. Yeah, so you can add your initials into the comments. We're gonna do draw for I think a $50. I want to say Starbucks. No, that seems too much for Starbucks. There's no
Is it
$50 gift card draw. I think it might be Amazon actually. So if you want to put your initials in the chat, we'll kind of spin the wheel and go through there. If anyone's left in our chat.
Hopefully we still have people left.
$50 gift card of your choice. So if you want to type in your initials, then we'll add it to the wheel and we'll get that going. We can draw it live or we can ask in an email. I think that we have the names of everyone that attended. So what we can do too is we can put those names into the wheel instead, maybe. Oh, SS.
Sarah?
One so far. You're the winner so far, Sarah. No one else comments in the next couple
No one
minutes.
else comments. That's a surefire winner.
Yep.
I imagine one of those memes, everyone running to the comment section.
Right? I live for those kinds of things. I'm one of those people that does the worst puns ever. Gosh. Okay, well, I guess we don't have to spin the wheel. Sarah, I believe have your email because I think we were chatting by text earlier as well. So if you want to text me what kind of gift card you'd like, as long as there's one that can be an electronic option, we can get that sent off to you today or tomorrow morning at the earliest, maybe, because Ontario is sleeping.
Yeah. Sleepy time there.
But as always, yeah, if you guys want to connect, you can always reach us by call, text, email, carrier pigeon, whatever works for you. We're always here. And we'll do these again in a couple weeks. And yeah, Sarah, I'll reach out to you and we'll get everything sorted for your gift card. Bye.
Bye.
Coming.